Good evening and welcome to the AtomicErgo Podcast. I'm Jamie Justice. I'm an executive board member of Ergonauts, and with me is Earl-Ray Neal, also an executive board member of Ergonauts, and who will lead our discussion tonight as we kick off this first podcast to really explore some discussions on ergonomics and their impact on the workplace. You know, our goal at Ergonauts really is to make the workplace safer and happier for everyone because we have a lot less injuries and a lot of good things that happen for the people who work in a wide variety of jobs and occupations. So with that, I'm glad that you're here with us tonight, and I'll turn it over to you, Earl-Ray, and let you introduce yourself and a little bit of background, and you can introduce our first guest tonight.
Well, Jamie, I'm so happy to be here with you tonight. I'm very excited to be a part of Ergonauts, and it's just a real pleasure to introduce to the general public our special guest tonight. He's been a friend of mine for quite some time. He is the Chief Visionary Officer of Ergonauts, and frankly, Ergonauts has been a vision of his for the last 2 decades. You're going to hear tonight about something very exciting that happened about a month ago, 33 days ago to be exact. And we are privileged to have with us the Chief Visionary Officer of Ergonauts, Steve Davis. Steve, how are you tonight?
Oh, I'm doing great. It's good to see both you guys.
All right, Steve, we're happy to have you. And you know, your vision to create this company and to bring an all-inclusive answer to ergonomics into an app and into a company has just been amazing to watch over the last. I've been involved with it for probably about feels like about 10 years, but I know this has almost been your adult life's goal. So tell us a little bit about what an ergonaut is, for goodness sake. Now, keep in mind, 15 years ago, if I said I was going to Google something, you know, nobody had a clue what I was talking about. I feel like in the next little bit, an ergonaut or ergonomics is going to be in the mainstream. So tell us what that is, and let's start there.
Yeah. Well, the definition I go with is just in the workplace to fit the person. And you know, number one, ergonomics, it's illnesses. They're you know, long-term musculoskeletal disorders. They typically don't happen in a day. And what ergonomics does is it looks at what are the risk factors for somebody developing carpal tunnel. That's something most people, or you know, thoracic outlet, or some illness like that. It's actually a health effect. What we do is we use a lean approach. We use the same approach that Toyota uses to produce a car every 58 seconds. That's one of the differentiators is we don't just look at the risk factors, we look at how it's a process and efficiency. And, you know, we have the tools to do that. So
let's talk about those tools. I think about a month ago, something incredibly exciting for Ergonauts happened. I think a dream of yours came true. So tell us about that, Steve.
Yeah. It actually was September 29th. You're absolutely correct. We September 29th, we launched our ergonomics platform, and it's the name of it's Ergo-Algo, and the first tool on that is called Ergo-Algo Office, and we essentially took the lean process. We looked at, you know, how do these things fail, those kind of things. Anyway, we developed a training program that's very targeted. It's online. It's go at your own pace. It's modularized. We use adult learning theory, which is one of the tools of lean is education. And then we took a systematic approach to break down office evaluations. So you go through the training, you get your certification, and then you download the app and you use that to conduct evaluations. It's super efficient. It has a poka-yoke built in, which means it's mistake proof. And the other thing it does is, from a problems perspective, is there's a lot of evaluations that occur And what happens is if say, Jamie, you call me in to evaluate an employee of yours, I would come in, I'd evaluate it, and I'd say, okay, here's the things that you probably need to correct. Here's the things I corrected, and one of them you may need to buy a chair or keyboard. And I hand you a report, and I want my check, and see you later. What we've done is we actually, when that report goes out now, if it recommends a keyboard, you can click on a link in the report, and it'll take you to our affiliate page, and you can purchase that keyboard. We've looked at keyboards, we looked at keyboard trays, we looked at, so anything that's recommended, instead of leaving the burden on you. We've solved that. We went and evaluated products. And the other thing is, the vast majority of people, if you going home's a huge issue. So if you have to have a keyboard tray mounted, now I hand you an evaluation, says you need a keyboard. We provide that keyboard link, but we also we have a national partnership with Handy, and they have people in every zip code. So you can click on that. You can say, I bought the keyboard. Takes you to our landing page on Handy, and it'll say, show up at Jamie Justice office and mount this keyboard. So it's an end-to-end solution. You never have to leave the process.
So this single source process for evaluation of products, tell us how like if I'm interested in being an ergonaut, if you will, can you just quickly walk us through that process? Because listen, I know my son is going to be a physical therapist. He is an ergonaut. He's done the training. As a matter of fact, he's already done a few of the evaluations, which have gone very well. And the customer has been very satisfied with it. Walk us through a little bit of that process, if you don't mind.
Yeah, well, it's as simple as going to our website. There's a place that on our website says sign up or sign in. You can go in and you can register. It's a 4-step process to register. It will take you through to our training site. Once you're registered and signed in, it'll take you to our training site. You start going through the training. You go through the each module. Once there's a quiz in each module, again, it's based on adult learning. There's a test at the end. It's got several questions that are directed, very focused on what you just learned. When you pass that, the app's free. We don't charge you for the app. The training is very focused. That's where we charge for that. But you'll receive a token. You can go download it. You can download it on your phone. You can download it on a pad. It runs on both a Google platform and Apple platform. So it takes about an hour and a half to 2 hours to walk through the modules. It's not just the ergonomics. We talk about ergonomic risk factors. We also talk about lean. I've been trained in the Toyota way, and actually teaching that program, and so a little bit of lean in everybody's life. It makes people more efficient. And so our evaluators look for inefficiencies. They look at all of those risk factors. And then when they, when they load it up, they can start doing evaluations. I hope it's very simple from a human factors perspective. That's what we designed it for, so that it's intuitive. The people that, we've ran 3 levels of beta with it. The people loved it. So it's a simple process. You go to our main page and you sign up or sign in. And if you decide to sign in 3 hours later, you can be conducting evaluations.
It's amazingly simple. It's very user friendly, and I enjoyed the process.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah.
Jamie?
Yeah, I was going to say the same thing there as Earl-Ray. Sometimes simple it gets overlooked because it's simple, and putting a structure behind that simple process, like you do with this app, makes it consistent and a very unique and easily attainable means to get a certification to do evaluations that really mean something. And I think if someone experiences an evaluation through this, they can rest very comfortably that was based on some good data and some good factors to do the research, and then the fact that you can find the products, have the products brought to them all, all seamlessly, really is a game changer in my mind for really making a difference after all these years in ergonomic structures. A lot of people talk about ergonomics, but a lot of people don't do anything about it. It just kind of gets swept under the table. And I think this app is a way to really change the way that evaluations are conducted and the way that our industries and workplace and even at home, can be better at being evaluated for having a good, safe work environment based on ergonomic factors.
So, Steve, one of the other things that I wanted to talk about is certainly the focus of Ergonauts is the human factor, making the workplace safer. But I also wanted to turn the focus just a little bit. Now, Jamie and I are going to have some folks on the podcast later on in the year about the financial benefit for an employer. But I want to talk about that a little bit with you as an employer. I know what workers' compensation is. I know what workers' compensation insurance is and how that works. So, in your mind, what hold does that fill for the employer? How does that help the employer in the long run to have an ergonaut come into their business and actually do some preventative maintenance, if you will? So let's talk about that a little bit.
Yeah. Well, that's if you look at the cost associated with the estimate's $50,000 per carpal tunnel release and therapy. So you have one. The cost of prevention is so much less than the cost of the. It's that pound a cure. And from that perspective, if you look at ergonomic illnesses overall, they're huge, and you're talking about billions a year. There's multiple factors that go into that too, guys, that people need to be looking at if they're not looking at them. We've got an aging workforce. We have the boomers. I'm a boomer. If you're born between 46 and 66, then you're a boomer. And that last of the boomers is going to be leaving the workforce in 2031. It's just math. And so as we become older, we're more susceptible. As we've got life that's built up, and broken bones and all those things are setting in now. But and the long story short, from a prevention perspective, you've got your direct cost, and you've got increased variables where people are going to have a hard time finding employees. They're having a hard time right now. And then there's indirect cost, because if I work for you, Earl-Ray, and I'm sitting there and I'm working and I keep telling you my chair's hurting me and my neck's hurting me, and so I end up in therapy, or end up at from a work comp perspective, there's going to be that cost, but there's going to be the cost of the employees sitting around. They're going to be angry. They're going to say, well, if he doesn't care about us, and that's going to be hugely important in the future as us 77 million boomers leave the workforce, because there's not a new group to come in, readily. And even if I'm out for a month, you've got the cost of rework, scrap, more injuries and illnesses happen when you're new, you're unfamiliar with the job. So, how do you calculate all that? I don't know. But I know that prevention's a lot cheaper. Changing a desk height, chairs, those things are inexpensive.
So the last thing I wanted to talk with you about tonight, you're the Chief Visionary Officer and obviously the founder of Ergonauts. How are you spreading your vision, Steve? I want you to tell the folks, I know that you're out, hit the road, talking to folks, talking to organizations and groups. So tell us a little bit about who you're focused on. And then most importantly, if anybody is watching this, and they want to hear more from Ergonauts, Chief Visionary Officer, or the Ergonaut team, How do they do that?
Yeah, as far as getting the word out, I spoke last month at a conference. We talked about what I was passionate about. It wasn't an infomercial. What we're doing is solving problems, and how do you do that? How do you do it more efficient? How do you do it so it's foolproof? I'm speaking this weekend. I'm speaking next week, but we're also focusing on some from a society perspective, or societies, associations. We have some folks that we're working with, that we have contacts with, that have felt the pain. And there's two kinds of pain. There's the I just had an evaluation done, and now you gave me a job, because I'm getting ready to go through and sort stuff out, and then I've got to get it assembled, or we solve that pain. And those are the things that people want to hear too. When they hear that, they're like, oh, you mean I don't have to worry? I don't. So when I send this chair to my employee's home, who's now home officing, then they're going to call me up and say, I can't assemble the chair. So it's sitting there in a box for another 6 weeks. We solve that. And that's what we're doing, is we're telling our story. It's if you tell the truth, you don't have to remember what you said. And we're getting a phenomenal reaction. People they don't know how to solve it. And the other thing is, large organizations with safety and health directors, there's just so much on their plate to manage. So if you give them a solution, and that's what we have, is we have a solution. There's a big management package behind it, where so all your data's there, your data's safe. They have access to it anytime. We give them a solution, and that's what we that's what we tell them. We have a weekly meeting. We have a weekly operations meeting. It's been going on for a while, and one of the things that we talk about, every single meetings, we talk about our company values. One of those is it's talking about honoring our humanity. We need to make a profit. I mean, that everybody does, but the reality is I tell everybody on every single call, let's focus on solving this problem, and the other part will come. That's what, as a humanist, that's what I want to do, is prevent suffering, and the businesses, the people, everybody gains from it. But that's how we're taking it to market. We've got meetings, set up, for the foreseeable future. So yeah, again, I think the web address is down there, ergonauts.com. You can send me an email personally at sdavis@ergonauts, and I can set something up.
I hear a rumor that you're also on LinkedIn. Is there any truth to that?
yeah, I am. I love LinkedIn. I think it's the one social media I think I understand somewhat.
Just go to Steve Davis's LinkedIn page and look at how many followers he has.
Yeah.
So, Steve, thank you so much for taking the time to share your vision of Ergonauts with us tonight. It's been insightful. Jamie, looks like we've just about got our first edition in the books. Any closing thoughts?
Yeah, just a couple of false stares. I go into shadow here. Where, yeah, Steve, you're very modest about what you've accomplished and what your focus is, but you really are one of those who live what you speak and what you do. And I've known you for a long time, and of all the times we've met, it's always been very passionate and exciting about ergonomics and Ergonauts as a vision. And I think you're bringing something to the world that's really needed. That's going to make a difference and a change. And I'm excited to be part of that. And I'm excited to do these podcasts. Earl-Ray, I'm enjoying working with you, and we're going to keep working on these and refining them and making them more and more exciting and interesting. We plan to talk to a lot of people who have different perspectives on the value of ergonomics, both from their professional lives, personal lives, workplace situations, whether they're a nurse or a doctor, a physical therapist, or a business owner. we're going to bring some perspectives on this that are going to be helpful to a lot of you as you watch and tune in with us. And hopefully you'll enjoy things as they go on. But again, Steve, thank you for being here tonight. And
I
with
appreciate you.
that, I guess we're at our ending point. But Earl-Ray, any last thing or any last comments from you two? If not, we will begin to end the stream.
Thank
All
you,
right.
guys. I appreciate you both.
Take care, everyone. Have a great time wherever you are in the world tonight or tomorrow or today. See y'all soon. We're going to shut down in
Be
3.
good to each other.